Hey guys, what's up? All right. It's Double Deuce on the loose again. Uh, Today I got something special for you. I'm going to go over another wacky build here. This is the new SCX6 by Axial. And so I ordered this specifically so I could make my project. I'm going to see up here, there's an air cleaner, and you're going to see in here there's a real radiator in here, and so I found a home for my Cison V8. So grab your favorite smoke, beverage, and popcorn and hang out with Double Deuce today, and I'll go over what I've got done so far. I'm still waiting for parts. Okay, here we go, guys. Welcome back. Hope everything's cool in your world. I was on the fence for a long time trying to figure out what to put my Cison V8 in. And I thought, but the gearbox that they have made now for it makes it you just drop it in almost anything. So, long story short, I got this stupid idea because I've always wanted an SCX6, but the prices are crazy, like $1,100, $1,000. So anyways, I snagged this one for $930, brand new in a box. And it's an experiment, so you got to invest money sometimes, and then sometimes it don't work out. So I kept all the old electronics out of the thing. The thing never even hit the ground. I come out of the box, onto the work table, on jack stands, I put a battery in it, clicked the radio on, did a radio test. I had steering, forward, backward, high, low, and and that was it. And then the whole electronic components come out of there. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this SCX6, but it is super ultra heavy duty. It's got 8mm outputs for the drive shafts, the pinion gear, the transmission gear, and it's a super heavy truck. And I guess box stock it weighs about 25 pounds or 28 pounds actually. So I don't know if I equaled that weight with the gearbox from Sterling Kit and the Cison V8 that you can get at Sterling Kit or not. But I'm going to call this build the SCX8 because it's a V8 now. And so there was a lot of late nights because when I get on a build, man, I tell you, it's like I got blinders on. Nothing gets in my way. I didn't eat for like 24 hours. I was drinking coffee by the boatloads, and like I say, I've been dieting, so I needed to keep my mind busy because Double Deuce is dropping in weight now. I've lost about 30 pounds in a month and a week. So the carnivore diet does work. You'll go through some weird things. You'll feel weird, but and in the overall, on my old path, I had no energy to do these things. It was like I'd sit down, I'd have a brain fog, creator's block, and just by changing your diet around and just eating the nutrients that you need, it really pays off. So anyways, this is a Lexan body. I'm not a big fan of Lexan bodies. I like the hard bodies, but this thing weighs as much as a hard body. I am eventually going to cut the hood out, put hinges on it so you can open the hood. And basically, there's tons of upgrades for this thing. And I ordered drive shafts. What else I ordered? I ordered the aluminum shock towers because I had to alter the shocks in the front, the shock towers, so I just kind of cut up the plastic ones. And I ordered an 8-channel radio for it. And what else did I get? I got leaf springs for my car trailer out back because one broke, and I need to get my Camaro back in there again. And let's see, I can't remember what else I ordered for this thing, but anyways, it's all coming this week. And but right now, the only thing keeping me from moving this is drive shafts, a rear transmission mount, and a radio that can handle the 3 channels of the transmission, and my brake, and my throttle servo, and my steering servo. So I had to move the steering servo up front because it was right in the way of where the engine goes. So I'm going to pop the body off right now, and you know, like, it's cool because the air cleaner, if I didn't have the air cleaner on it, this would set right underneath. But you know, you need an air cleaner, and I thought with it sticking out of the hood like that, it looks pretty mean. So let's pop this thing off. Everything fits like a glove. This body is super heavy, I'm telling you. It's huge, you know. And I'll show you what I did for the grill. And the grill has a plastic fake radiator in it, and and it also incorporates the headlight buckets. So I just cut the radiator off, which I think is right here. I dropped it this morning. This thing would normally set behind the grill between the headlights. So I just cut it off at the tanks, left the edges of the tanks there, and then I installed a radiator I got from Sterling Kit. So you're going to check it out and see. It's, you know, it's setting in there. I got an exhaust made for it. The shocks, I'm going to have to shim them out and move them back a little bit because they're kind of, I had to put them there for now just to test it. I cut the bumper plastic housing. It's a 2-piece thing, and I mounted the stock servo right under here and had to put the arm up to keep it out of the way. But you know, once you start looking there, the gearbox sits in there real nice, and it sets almost exactly perfect where the electric gearbox set. And I will include some close-up pictures of this so you guys can see what I've done so far. But I got to use my shroud, my little fan shroud there, and you know, of course, I got the high volume fan, and it does have inner wheelhouses, and I am going to try to trim them around the headers and put them back in, because I would like to enclose all this off so all the air comes through the radiator, you know, and cools the radiator. Now, additionally, I'm going to put this radiator back here somewhere. So I'm going to have 2 radiators. This one has the electric fan on it, and just between the high volume fan that was 3D printed from Sterling Kit, the thing was like, I don't know, 13 bucks. But, and this radiator here with a fan, this thing did not overheat. So I've got it kind of dialed in where I want it, and you know, this is where I've got so far. Like I say, drive shafts, radio, fuel tank, and you know, it's, you know, I'm close. I just got to wait for parts. And I'm going to run these coolant tubes. I was going to run this and back to the bottom of that one and try it, but I know if I get it outside and I'm running it, I'm not going to want to stop because it's overheating or something. So I'm just going to plumb this back here to this radiator and then back to that one with a circular path there. And then I'm going to put in, wherever it is here, I got shit everywhere. It's a motorcycle reservoir. Here it is. This is like a, I got these on eBay. It's like a brake, motorcycle brake reservoir. I'm going to use that. I've used these for my coolant overflows. A little plug in it, seals it off. And I just put in a 4mm nipple. And so I'll run this back here somewhere, you know, where it's above the the coolant pass so I can bleed the system. But like I said, I made the exhaust system for the thing, and I just took some washers and some brake line. Now, I bought a bunch of brake line here because I want to do some upgrades, like make some supports in the front and all that. But I bought a piece of 3/8 brake line right here, and they got this flared edge on them. Well, I just got a washer that set up against this thing at the flare. I drilled 3 holes in it and tapped 3 2.5 millimeter threads in my headers that come with the engine, and bolted them right up and pinches right to it. Now I can put in a gasket. And when I was building the exhaust system, I had about 6 hours in making 2 pieces of pipe. This one here is very complex because I wanted to keep it away from the electronics, because I was going to hide my electronics here and my battery over there. But so I had to bring this down around this shift servo here, because it's a high and low servo and it's tight, and then under the transfer case, around the transfer case, up through the center so it wouldn't interfere with the link. So I got a full movement back here, and then I just ran them out the back right now, as you can see. But I'm going to put some chrome tips on them, and I was going to turn them out, but I don't know, figure I just put them in the center. That way it's got that high performance look to it, and that way it mates up to its being. It's now I'm hoping the gearbox works out for something this size. I want to upgrade the wheels and tires on this thing, because these are the stock ones, and I'd like to put some nice deep dish aluminum wheels on it. And I also found the alloy front and rear axles, and the aluminum C-hubs for the front, so it steers. That's going to be an upgrade down the road. But right now, with the cost of this rig, the engine, the tranny's like $600. The engine's like what, about $2,000, and this here was $900. So that's the kind of money you get when you want to build something crazy. But it'll be a one-off for now until somebody else wants to build one. And this was my quickest, I guess, pain-free way that I could say, I want to put the Cison V8 in something. And I do have other rigs that are 6 scale, but I also have my Cison V8. I have the earlier nitro version, and I have the new gas version. And so I'm gonna do something with that. I thought about putting the Cison V8 in this thing, because it does rev really high and really fast, but it's only 28 cc's. This is 44 cc's. So I figured between the gearbox, the weight of this build, and the body, I'm going to need a bigger cc engine, and so that's why I went with the Cison V8 for this one. And like I say, it's a labor of love. And so I got the kit Wednesday night, and it was probably about 6 o'clock, because the UPS guy came, and they come to my house like last second. And so I was all giddy to get this thing, and I tell you what, I was all sweat and everything just getting it up the stairs and getting a box in the house, because it's massive. This thing is huge. The box is even bigger. And so I got it out, put it on the table, and I thought, I'm just going to crash tonight, rest my mind. And nah, that don't work for me, because I sat there and stared at it. I didn't sit down for 10 minutes, and I was up and studying things and moving things around, and then I tested it, and okay, everything electronically works, and I said, it's time for disassemble time. So I got the old screw gun out and Allen wrenches, start ripping things apart, and this is what I got. But one thing I do want to show you is the electronics that this thing came with, and they were serious about this truck when they made it. So if you don't want to convert it to gasoline, this thing is heavy. This thing weighs as much as that engine and probably half that transmission alone. Now you're going to see the size of this engine or this motor. This thing's massive. You know, it's huge. I've never owned something that big. You know, because I always went with the smaller, like, you know, higher RPM KV brushless systems and all that stuff. And it's got a 120 amp speed controller in it, and all this stuff sat right here. So I just removed it all, kept everything together. It's going in a box, and you know, if the gearbox doesn't work out or the engine don't work out, I can always put it back to this. Now, there's that 8mm shaft. That is humongous. And the problem I had, the shafts coming out of this gearbox here are only 5mm. It's only got a little 5mm shaft on the thing, so I'm gonna have to go from a 5 to an 8, and which I think I got it figured out in a way. I ordered 5mm axles that are long enough for this, but they do sell the stock replacement axles for this, but I didn't know if it was you know, if they're going to be long enough, you know, or not axles, I'm sorry, drive shafts, but the you know, because once they extend out so far, they come wobbly and weak and they start binding. And I'm trying to keep this, you know, automatic clutch manual transmission as free as possible. I wanted to use the gear ratio in this thing and put it to the wheels, because this thing is all locked front and back. There's no differentials on this thing at all, so that's going to cause a strain too. But you know, it's going to be an experiment, and you know, like, we'll see what happens. But for now, it's probably going to be a pretty epic build, and I was pretty psyched about it. So, but like I say, any questions, comments, you know, throw them below. If you know, like, share, subscribe if you want. Share the video to your friends. Throw it on TikTok if you want, because I'm not on TikTok. You know, it's going to be I think it's going to be a game changer with this gearbox and this engine combination for our hobby, which is great, because there's a lot of people that I've seen online that I'm subscribed to them, they're subscribed to me, and they're all into super scale. And I think with an opening hood, inner fender wells, and you know, I can add things to it down the road, you know, and I'll upgrade the front and rear axle housings, and getting back to the drive shafts. If I bought the stock drive shafts for this thing, they're steel and they're splined and they come in and out. Now the ones I bought were 5mm. They're splined and they come in and out. And so what I thought about doing was trying to see if there's enough room to drill an 8mm hole in one end, and then so the 5mm on the other end will go in here. But something dawned on me. The drive shafts they're like $59 a pair. They're like $60 a pair. And you know, you start buying things to cut them up, it gets expensive because you're just throwing money in the trash can. So it dawned on me one night. I went to bed and I was just kind of laying there, and you know, my gears are turning in my head. I couldn't get this off my mind, because like a problem with a drive shaft or something like that drives me bananas. But I thought, well, what if I bought, if they're the same circumference and the same spline, what if I bought the SCX 6 ones, and I already got my other ones, I'll just pull them apart and slide them in. That way I won't have to drill nothing, but it's going to be another 60 bucks, you know, plus shipping. So, but you know, that's my thought there. So, anyways, you know, this is the build, and I don't want to get the video going too long, but you know, love to all, and let me know. I'll put the links down below for the gearbox, the engine, and these here you can buy them all over Amazon, eBay, everywhere. So the SCX6. So all right, guys, have a good one. Till next time, adios.